Hello, good morning to you. Welcome, it's Talkin really here, and here's a disturbing story in the whole agenda of the life of disabled people, and for me, being 60 plus years old, I've lived through the 70s and the 80s of trying to get equality, trying to make our way through life and become part of society, obviously fighting the system, having accessibility. Certainly when I was a kid, my parents had to get permission to take me onto a bus to go to Bristol. That's where we lived. We had to plan it ahead of time. In fact, we had to book it, and I had a little tiny wheelchair at the time. They had to have an inspector waiting for us and travel with us on the bus. It's not like today where you could just jump on your scooter and go on the train wherever you like and get help. And obviously, preferably you book the help you need. But if you don't book it, then it doesn't matter because you can still travel. So it's a long way off from what it used to be in the olden days when I was younger. So that's a positive thing, a positive progress, integrating people into society to live as normal lives as we can. Now, this is a disturbing story in The Guardian. You may or may not have seen it, but it is actually written by a lady who is disabled, and she's talking about this issue that's come up whereby they're going to try and put disabled people who need social care, and it's costing a lot of money for social care, they're going to put them into a group home. Now, I seem to recall in the 70s and 80s, group homes were for severely disabled. That obviously, then later on, 90s, there was this thing called social care money that they could get, and they could employ carers. Certainly we have a guy bottom of my garden who employs carers to live in a rented house. His house is bigger than my house, I mean, I must say, but he has carers 24/7, and society pays for that. Now, obviously, you can argue it's all about money at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is have a look at the story because it is quite alarming. Hello, just a reminder that if you are worried about your data being sold or being used or abused, then there is a service that's called Incogni, and go to their website to find out more. And also, if you do sign up, then you will be helping me by allowing me to get a small commission, and also helping yourself to prevent yourself and your data and your information from being abused. So please do consider and have a look at the link below. So The Guardian and Francis Ryan, think of this: a plan to warehouse disabled people. What kind of nation is Britain becoming? It's concerning Bristol, by the way, which is obviously where I used to live. For the past 30 years, Mark, who has cerebral palsy, has lived in his accessible bungalow with the support of personal assistants. That care package has enabled the 58-year-old to build a life at the heart of his community, from being a governor at the local school and training as a social worker to holding a season ticket for his beloved Bristol City Football Club. From next week, that life could start to disappear as the latest local authority to strain under growing social care costs and dwindling resources. The city face a budget hole of 17 million next year. Well, personally, they should get some money from the wars that they're fighting, because they could save 12 billion straight away. And they expect it to rise to 32 million in the years to come. Now, they're proposing a cost-effective solution. If a disabled person's in-home care is not considered best value, they could be told to live in a care home instead. It's the stuff of domestic horror movie. A bureaucrat deems your life too expensive and you're forced to pack your bags and spend the rest of your days in an institution. Sitting in his wheelchair, his computer screen on the desk, Mark is not going down without a fight. He and a dozen other disabled people in the area are campaigning against the policy. The team has already had one win. Pressure meant the council extended the consultation to the end of January. With only days left to get the word out, Mark is running out of time. Mark is keen to put those he's campaigning for first. It's not about me, he says, but admits thoughts of his own future are taking their toll. Obviously, it's all about money in the end. Back in the 70s and 80s, disabled people in Britain were routinely put into out-of-town institutions, or warehoused, as it was known. I didn't know that. The term warehoused conjures up chilling reality. Human beings stored under one roof, without autonomy. It would be comforting to believe that this treatment of disabled people was firmly in the past. But it's not. It's going to be repeated. NHS England has already introduced upper limits on the amount spent on supporting disabled people to live in their homes, a move the Equality and Human Rights Commission warned about in 2017, that they would see adults interned in care homes, and it's a potential breach of their human rights. Others have chosen to go into residential care after their 24/7 care at home was reduced to dangerous levels, or they could no longer pay the extortionate social care charges. She's spoken to disabled people as young as 30, being placed in nursing homes. Millennials forced to live with elderly dementia patients. When I asked Bristol City Council about the policy, it said it was co-developed with disability advocacy groups. Yeah, I don't believe that. In his bungalow, Mark is finding escapism by binge watching Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. I can watch TV what I like, he reflects. I couldn't do that in a home. You probably could, because you have your own room. I mean, to be fair, it's not happened yet, but it's obviously something that they are fear-mongering, and I can believe it would happen pretty much as they've said there. If your care costs us too much, then bye-bye, off you go to the institution. You may as well be in prison, because you probably get more care in prison than you would anywhere else. But what a life is that? I mean, I thought we moved away from the 70s and 80s. I thought we'd gone and made progress with our lives and our rights. And it's obviously government-led. So we know what the Tories think of disabled people, useless eaters, etc. And please do feel free. I think this is going to blow up, this video. I think we need to hear your comments about this and what you think about this. Obviously, if you're not in a position where you need care, then it probably won't affect you at all. However, for those of us out there that do have care and do pay for it and have to support ourselves in our own homes, which is ideal, then clearly this is going to be a worrying time. Right, that's it from me today. Have a very good day. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you Sunday for our live stream. Don't forget, 4 p.m. That's it from me. Bye for now.